Hi, and welcome back to the final lesson for building Foodstagram using Lavaca. So in this final one, we're going to kind of go through some of the polish that we'll want to add before releasing the app. So, for example, adding in the selected state so you know which tab you're on. Maybe remembering which where you have scrolled to when you tap into one of these and go back. Maybe even adding some swipe back functionality that you would see in a normal iOS app. When you toggle between these, you want them to also remember where they are. Right now it just pops back up to the top. All right, so to do that, what we're going to do is basically hop over into our project and look at state model. State model is another one of these singletons that's just a single instance throughout the entire state of the app. And what we're going to do is add a couple different properties on it. So one we're going to call current tab view. So this will remember which tab is the current view when you navigate back from another route. So we'll put that as food because that's the current one. And we'll set offsets. So this is basically just going to be your offset from top, so you know where to scroll back to when you navigate between different views. So we'll set food at 0 and profile at 0. And basically this just goes and creates the new model with those attributes to start. All right, so let's go ahead and open up a home view. And basically we want to import state model in here so that the home view knows about the state of the application. So we're going to import state model from app/models/state model. So basically what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and open up them side by side so we can kind of see what's going on. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the food view template. So basically what we want to do is we want to, when we tap on one of these to go to a new view, so this one, we want to find out what the scroll position of this is and save that to the state model. All right, so what we're going to do is basically take state model dot offsets of whatever the current tab view is. So we're going to do state model dot current tab view. And set that equal to the scroll top of this. So to get that, we can do this.l.find overflow scroll. And jQuery has a scroll top that we can use. So we'll just do that. And that's going to set, whenever we go to a new one, it's going to grab the scroll position of this before it executes the route. Then after that, since this returns a promise, we can do .then. We want to basically update the new, whatever the new one is, to the current tab view. So we can say in here, state model dot current tab view equals item, since item is already going to be either food or profile. And then we can go in and grab the new scroll amount. So this .l.find overflow scroll. And set its scroll top to whatever it was previously. So what we're going to do is say, once it's done rendering the new one, say we click on this one and it re-renders this, we want to set its scroll position to whatever it used to be. So if you click here, click back, we want to remember what state it was in. So we're going to go in here and set the scroll top to state model.offsets with the new current tab view. Or you could just put in here item. All right, so let's test this. I need to change this to offset instead of offsets. We'll save that, go over to our view and see if it works. So let's scroll down here and we'll go to a new tab. And we'll go back to the old tab, and if you notice, it scrolled to the correct position. If we do the same thing on the inverse, notice it scrolled here as well. So that's working as we expect. Great. Now, it may not be working this direction yet. because we need to remember which view we're on and re-render our child view manager with the correct first step. So to do that, we're just going to go in to up here where we said step 1 and step 2, and we're basically going to write a ternary function for that as well, for basically checking the state model's current tab view. So we're going to say for each of these, state model dot current tab view equals, for the first one, food. If that's true, equal 1, otherwise equal 2, since we only have 2 steps. And then for the second one, we're going to say if it equals profile, 1 or 2. All right, so that's going to remember which one we're on when we go to it. So I'll show you what that does. We click on this one, we go to a new view. When we hit back now, it should bring us back to the profile view as opposed to previously it was showing up here. So the next thing and kind of final thing for the navigation piece is when we scroll on this page, click on a food item, go back, we want it to maintain scrolled. So that's pretty easy to do since we already have a lot of that logic. So Lavaca has something called onRenderComplete. This is triggered when the template has rendered and has been injected into the DOM, and you're ready to manipulate it. So you can easily go through and basically just do the exact same thing that we've already done for finding the overflow scroll top and set it to the correct offset. So I'm just going to copy this guy, paste it in there. Instead of item, since we don't have reference to that anymore, I'm going to do state model dot current tab view. All right, so we'll go ahead and save that and see if it works. All right, so we go here, scroll down, go to the next one, go back. So that didn't work as expected. The reason for that is we're not saving the scroll position until we tap something down here. But we're not tapping something down here, we're tapping on one of the images. So what we need to do is go into the profile view where we're going to that page. So profile view, and we need to import state model. So we're going to bring state model from over here to right up there. And then we're going to basically just do the same thing that we did down here by setting the offset to the current scroll position. All right. All right, there we go. Now it's working. So the last thing we're going to want to do is add the highlighted state to each of these. Most of the legwork's already there. We already have all the places that we need that to happen. So we just need to actually trigger that. So basically what we're going to want to do is we have this onRenderComplete function here. So we're going to use some of the same stuff that we just used. We're going to grab this guy, and we're going to say this.l.find, and we basically want to find the specific tab item that matches our current tab. So if we look at our template for home, we've got data items that match food and profile. So we can go in here and say this.l.find class of tab item. That's also a data item equal to whatever our attribute is. So we can put that in here. And we want to set that have a class of selected. So add class of selected. So in here, we'll just use this state model current tab view. And then when we hit save, we'll try it out. And it looks like this one has a class of selected. When we tap this one, it's not switching, but if we navigate away and come back, this is the correct one. So now we just need to add it when you tap on it, and that should just about wrap everything up. So I'm going to basically just go ahead and copy this whole add class selected and put it down here when we execute a route for Child View Manager. So the only difference I'm going to do is I also want to remove the class of selected. So on the siblings, so I'll say dot siblings dot remove class selected. All right, let's try that out. We tap on this one, and now this one's highlighted, and back and forth. All right, there's one last thing before we wrap this up. In native iOS apps, when you tap on something and go to a page, you have the ability to swipe back. Right now, all we have is this back button, but Lavaca has something that we've built that allows you to have that native swipe feel. So we can go into our app.js, and if you look over at our source under managers, there's this swipe history back manager. This basically handles your ability to swipe back and forth. There's a couple, setup things you need to do to get it working properly. First, we need to import it up here. So we say import swipe history back manager from app/managers/name of the file. And then we'll go into here and we'll say create a new instance of it. Essentially, you need to do sb equals new swipe back manager, and then we'll just call sb.init. We also need to enable breadcrumb tracking, the ability to set root views so that if you are at that view, you can't go back any further. And so what we'll do is we'll do this .view manager .init breadcrumb tracking. Now, if we look at swipe history back manager, one thing it's doing right now is it's checking for iOS. Depending on the version you have, it may have iOS installed. So if it does and you want to test that in the browser, just remove the -installed. Save that. If we go over here, loads up. We'll execute a route to one of these pages and swipe back. So this is the swiping that I was talking about. So you can swipe back and get to the previous page. Now, so there are some things you can do to make this even, more feel like a native experience by, fading the back as you go out and fading Foodstagram logo in, or whatever you wanted to do. All right, so that about covers it for this video series on building an app with Lavaca. I hope you learned a lot. There's plenty of things you could do if you wanted to continue your learning. You could add a native share sheet here, so when you tap on this, it uses a Cordova plugin to share it out to Twitter and Facebook. You could add commenting if you wanted to, try and add comments to people's posts. You could connect it to something like Firebase or Parse, where you get real data flowing in and out of the app with real users. So there's plenty of things you could do to make this your own. But this is just to get you started. So if you build anything cool, feel free to tweet at me at Alex Wasner or at Lavaca. You could do at GetLavaca.